The story of Devadatta. While residing at the Jetavana monastery in Savatthi, the Buddha uttered verses 9 and 10 of this book, with reference to Devadatta. Once the two chief disciples, the Venerable Sariputta and the Venerable Mahamoggallana, went from Savatthi to Rajagaha. There, the people of Rajagaha invited them, with their 1,000 followers, to a morning meal. On that occasion, someone handed over a piece of cloth worth 100,000 to the organizers of the almsgiving ceremony. He instructed them to dispose of it and use the proceeds for the ceremony should there be any shortage of funds. Or, if there were no such shortage, to offer it to any one of the bhikkhus they thought fit. It so happened that there was no shortage of anything, and the cloth was to be offered to one of the theras. Since the two chief disciples visited Rajagaha only occasionally, the cloth was offered to Devadatta, who was a permanent resident of Rajagaha. Devadatta promptly made the cloth into robes and moved about pompously, wearing them. Then a certain bhikkhu from Rajagaha came to Savatthi to pay homage to the Buddha, and told him about Devadatta and the robe, made out of cloth worth 100,000. The Buddha then said that it was not the first time that Devadatta was wearing robes that he did not deserve. The Buddha then related the following story. Devadatta was an elephant hunter in one of his previous existences. At that time, in a certain forest, there lived a large number of elephants. One day, the hunter noticed that these elephants knelt down to the Pachika Buddhas on seeing them. Having observed that, the hunter stole an upper part of a yellow robe and covered his body and hand with it. Then, holding a spear in his hand, he waited for the elephants on their usual route. The elephants came, and taking him for a Pachika Buddha, fell down on their knees to pay obeisance. They easily fell prey to the hunter. Thus, one by one, he killed the last elephant in the row each day for many days. The Bodhisatta, the Buddha-to-be, was then the leader of the herd. Noticing the dwindling number of his followers, he decided to investigate and followed his herd at the end of the line. He was alert and was therefore able to evade the spear. He caught hold of the hunter in his trunk and was about to dash him against the ground when he saw the yellow robe. Seeing the yellow robe, he desisted and spared the life of the hunter. The hunter was rebuked for trying to kill under cover of the yellow robe and for committing such an act of depravity. The hunter clearly did not deserve to put on the yellow robe. Then the Buddha spoke in verse as follows. Verse 9. He who is not free from taints of moral defilements, kilesas, and yet dons the yellow robe, who lacks restraint in his senses and speaks not the truth, is unworthy of the yellow robe. Verse 10. He who has discarded all moral defilements, kilesas, who is established in moral precepts, is endowed with restraint and speaks the truth, is indeed worthy of the yellow robe. At the end of the discourse, many bhikkhus were established in Sotapatti fruition. Pachika Buddha, one who, like the Buddha, is self-enlightened in the Four Noble Truths and has uprooted all the moral defilements, kilesas. However, he cannot teach others. Pachika Buddhas appear during the absence of the Buddha Sasana teaching